I would like to share my excitement and my passion for mixed reality, the merge of augmented reality and virtual reality, as well as some of the work we've been doing at HTML Fusion Lab in the space.
Name? Your name?
Philip Louis. So what we do at HTML Fusion, we work with entrepreneurs that have a great idea in their space and need a technical shop or technical co-founder to build a good startup. We have an amazing track record of success, and we've been really good at that. So when I was a kid, I was a fan of sci-fi. I was reading a lot of books around this, and there was all those people in the future that would become telepaths and would think and talk to each other without using their voice. That didn't happen. What we got in the end is cell phones. And my point here is that this is about creating technology for a primary need we have as human beings. We have a need for connecting. We have a need for getting to talk to each other. And as we cannot be telepath, we create technology to help us do that. So today, we're in a world where we're using our cell phones and our computer to communicate to each other through the internet. What will be the next thing that will come and that will replace those devices and make them obsolete? Those devices will disappear and go away. So before I talk about that technology or that thing, let me go back in 2007. There was, at that time, a convergence of technology. We had the cellular network in one hand that was getting faster, where you could get data into your phone. And it was getting faster and more data. On the other hand, we had touch screens that were actually becoming usable with a new technology called capacitive. And there was a push, really strong push for design. Believe it or not, it's only recently that apps look beautiful, devices are really nice, and there's an emphasis on user interface design. So you take all those three trends that were happening in 2007, and you get a guy like Steve Jobs, and suddenly you have the iPhone that totally changed the way we've communicated and created these amazing trends of apps with smartphones. So this was a revolution, almost 10 years ago now, thinking about it. And today, we have a new one. We have a new trend happening. We have a new convergence. We have augmented and virtual reality. We have artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. So, okay, all those are real big buzzwords, so let me go really quickly what I mean by each of them. So for me, Internet of Things is simply the Internet going out of the laptops and the phones. It's getting into the real world. So you'll get the Internet in your speakerphones, you'll get Internet in your light bulbs, you'll get the Internet into your coffee machines and all your different devices. So the Internet's going to move away from inside the cloud and this obscure thing behind the computer into the real world. Let me give you like a very simple example. These little buttons, they're called flick, and you program them to do whatever you want. You set them to do what you like, and they get to do an action on the internet or they will end up with the real world. For example, this little click, when my wife was traveling in France, I programmed it to send her a love message. So each time I would click on it, it will send her an I love you. So that's what I mean by the Internet of Things. It's something that's going in our real world, in our physical world, in our house, in the things we touch and we move with. Artificial intelligence. So I've been following the space since probably the 80s, and that's been stagnant. I mean, the best we could do was make a really good chess player, but we couldn't do really anything until recently we got into neural networks and we made breakthrough in there with deep learning. And since then, we have finally machines that can actually learn on their own, carry their own patterns, and actually get something that's closer than how we are doing things. So I'm going to be, today, the AIs are still really primitive. What they can do is hear your voice and understand what you're saying, and look at things like we do. They can recognize things in pictures. They can see what a chair is, what a human being, but they don't go beyond than that so far. And augmented and VR, that's, I mean, here we know pretty much a lot about this, and we just did an amazing talk on that. This is the year for VR, 2016, and soon it's going to be the year for VR. There's so much happening, so much technology, so much money poured into it. Something is happening in that trend. So, yeah, my question on VR, AR, the mixed reality, as mentioned in the last questions, this is happening where we merge either the augmented reality from the virtual reality and scanning the real world and put that in VR, or we do the opposite. We create glasses that see through and overexpose and overimpose on the real world objects and holograms. So, those are the three trends are converging right now, and it's predictable that something's going to happen and the next big thing's going to drop. Okay, I don't know what that next big thing is, but I can describe to you, based on all I know from those technology, what that world would look like, how that experience will feel, and how the experience when you won't have your cell phone and you won't need a laptop anymore to interact will be. So let me give you that example. Who here has already used Yelp or Foursquare to find a restaurant in LA? Okay, so you guys know the experience. You know that experience with the current technology. So now here's the experience without, let's say, 3-4 years from now. So you will be walking in the street in LA. It will be probably close to dinner time, and you would really feel like having a great evening. Your personal AI, and here, that's not Siri. Siri is not an AI. Your personal AI, which will be much smarter, will check in on you. It will look at your breathing. It will look at your heartbeat, how much sweat on your skin, how much tension you have in your nerves and your muscles. And let me stop here. What I'm saying here actually already exists. And all the example I'm going to give you right now, the technology exists. It's a bit clunky. It's not really for public, for everyone, but it's there. So that AI will cross-reference all those biometrics she gets from you or he gets from you with the past email you sent or the past text messages you sent with your friends and relatives, and then we'll get an emotional state of you. She will know, or it will know, how you feel, where you're at. From there, it will be the perfect situation for that AI to give you the best recommendations for a restaurant in the area where you are. So, I don't know what happened. And then, from there, you will see those restaurants. They will appear over in rows. They will have indications of where they are, the wait time where they are. Then you'll select one of those options, and you'll be able to see on the street. It will not be in the air, but it will be on the pavement. You will see marks that tells you which direction to go and where you can get to that restaurant. When you arrive to the restaurant, you won't need a menu anymore. You will just look at your plate, and simply in your plate will appear one of the meals that the restaurant does. You will swap to get to the next one. And then if there's something in that meal that you like, but there's another thing you don't really like, you just put your hand there and virtually grab it and throw it away. And another set of sides will appear for you to put in there. The waiter will still come back. The waiter will still exist because it's not about removing connections with people, it's about actually adding more. It will come here and talk to you, explain to you what the restaurant's about, and introduce you about the composition you're doing, make you suggestions, and validate the order with you. And then within a few minutes, the plate will be there. That experience is not only for you as here, it's also for everyone in the restaurant. If you look at the waiter, he will have an overview of the room and will have much more information on everyone and be able to know who needs water, who's in a good place, who's ready to get the check, and that will visually overimpose when you look at the restaurants. So that's just a sample of what's I believe is coming, and what comes back to is what's fundamental need we have, this technology, those group of conversions are going to change. What are they bringing to us? And what I believe is they're going to bring us back the mobility. They're going to take away those screens we're stuck on all day in front of us. This small windows we have of the internet today, it's really small, it's a little square. And it will take us that experience and immerse it with us. And it will be fully merged. At that point, we'll be able to stand up, walk, talk to each other, get to places, move things with our hand, and get full interactions with the virtual and the real world back again without having to use screens and computer and desktops. So we're back again at walking. So this is a future that we see, and it's a future that we decided, as we're seeing this coming, we see those trends, we say let's not wait and let's start building it. Let's start working on it. Let's start creating things with it. So we created a year and a half ago, the HTML Fusion Lab, and that's where we start doing some experiments in the space of mixed realities. And I'm going to talk about two of them. One is holographic, Holo UI, the holographic user interface, and the other one is Open House VR. So Holo UI was our experiment for us to create that world where we mix the real world and the virtual world. And there's devices that exist today, like the HoloLens or Magic Leap or ODG glasses, but they're not available. They will be released and they'll be in the hands of developers probably early this year or mid this year. So as we didn't have that when we started, we created our own. And here's a little video of our setup. So we created this massive big screen with 3D projectors, head tracking, and that allowed us to actually start experimenting. Okay, we have the real world, and now we're going to overimpose that real world some elements and see how it works. You know, what it means to look at something and have more information on it. What it means to, what's the reticle, what's the click. We have to reinvent everything. We're so used to now do things with the touch. Now it won't be touch. It will be with your hands, with your eyes, with your voice, with the gaze. So we have to yeah, here's an example. So that experiment up there is an experiment on what's the best way to augment an object. How do we get, for example, a flower and get the information we want on that flower, or a flyer and we want that information on that flyer? So we were experimenting two methods and way of doing it. One was just gaze at it, and when you gaze at it, it actually appears on it. And the other one is the looking glass. All the information is there, but you have this like spot that will go around and make you look at it. So you see, the system is very basic. It's not for everyone. It's just for us. We're doing our research and our testing. But it gave us so much information when we had people using it into what was working and what was not working. So that's basically what the Holo UI is about. So let's go to the next slide, if that can be done. There we go. No. There we go. Next one. So the other project we have is Open House VR. And that came up like pretty much what Ron said was about, hey, let's try something. Let's do crazy things or just jump on it. I got this little camera at the setup and I was just playing with it and said, this is so easy. I can just make VR screens everywhere. Okay, let's go in a house and just stitch them together and see if it's good to visit the house with VR. And we put that together into a little cardboard and people liked it and it worked. So we created now a more advanced version, which the MVP 2 we're demoing here, where you can actually get a good feel and you can load houses, and we've talked to a lot of real estate agents for the past 2 months into getting what they really need, what problem we can solve with this, and get this moving forward. So Open House VR is still a lab project so far, but we're looking forward to find a great partner and then move that project into its own startup. Okay, so for closing, for me, I really want to just say about that, for me, this new thing that's happening, this new convergence that's going to create this magic solution that's going to happen certainly, is so exciting because we have a white canvas. We can reinvent exactly how we're going to interact with the machines. We can make it more human. We can rethink it in a way that's much more simplified and transparent and easy to use than it was ever before with the technology. And it's probably one of the biggest leaps we may have in the past 50 years. So that's my excitement with mixed realities. So if you guys have great ideas. So yeah, if you guys have